And we're live, and Jerry's already got problems with his MacBook somehow, with his microphone feeding back through his headphones. If anybody knows the answer to that, let me know.
It's a first.
That's
Never
it.
had the issue, which is weird.
Yeah, I've been doing some changes here with the audio on my system, of course. So I'm just making sure that that's actually working on the stream. It says my boom mic. It's got to switch back to the boom mic here. That's that one there. So trying to clear up the hum in the system, if you know what I mean. And again, it's been it's been noticeable on my Twitch live streaming. So I spent a good 4 hours, Thursday night trying to sort it out. Different bits of software on my system to try to sort it out. I couldn't find anything, and I found I already had something on my computer called NVIDIA Broadcast, which has a noise cancelling feature on it. The volume might be a bit low. You'll have to turn them. I can't adjust, or I could put another application to boost the volume level, but when you're doing noise cancellation, that's exactly what you try to do. You try to cancel the noise out while leaving it crisp. So there's NVIDIA Broadcast has an AI that does that and notices what hum is and versus technical shit. Anyway, so I turned that on, but it seems to be much clearer in my headphones, but I can't imagine why it would be feeding back into Discord like that. Unless
we need someone else to come on live and see if they're having an issue.
Well, let me have a look. So I'm listening to my NVIDIA broadcast. If I switch that to that, now is it gone now? Okay. So it was my end. So I'm also listening. So there's a feature on the headphones that will also add noise cancelling, but what it's doing, it's feeding that back into my system. Anyway, it still doesn't affect my microphone. That's the one setting I couldn't test, unfortunately. So that's what it is. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. So I can now adjust. I can adjust Jerry's volume down to 80%. Give me a sound check. Yeah. Now what you're going to do is just turn the stream up a bit. That's all. If anybody's having, if it's quieter than normal, it's only about 3 dB lower. Yak Lama, good morning from Melbourne. Cool Melbourne. Well, we'd like to have some cool, wouldn't we? Cool would be nice. Cool would be nice. It's been a hot couple of weeks, and we've got probably another 4 weeks of it being just as hot. Can't hear Jerry now. Say something. I can hear you perfectly all right. Okay. Now, I can hear him in. No, just square this. Like I'm feeding back in there, and I can see my sound meter. Let me just go to the sound meter again. Give me a sound check. Okay. Now I'm not okay. I'm not seeing you now on the audio. So uh, this is weird. It shouldn't affect me like that at all. Um, so I'm feeding that into the system, and I'm not hearing Jerry at all. Am I hearing? That's right. It's all right. So I can hear my desktop volume. So that's coming through. But I don't hear Jerry coming through. So just hold on. That's all right. It's all right. I can figure it out. Microphone, camera. So I'm feeding into this system here. They said I didn't get a chance. Nobody's been on Discord for the last 2 days, so I didn't get a chance to play with this. I'm hearing you perfectly right. My input device is my microphone. This microphone here. And see, all I can do is just go back to the boom mic, but that has the hum in it now. Was that any better? No, okay. So just fiddling around with it, fiddling around with it. Um, so that's the microphone. Why is my desktop audio not coming through? Yeah, output device to my headphones. Right, okay, desktop audio. Sorry for this muck around. If I had a chance to do this before, and I can't easily just roll it back because of the way I've made the changes. Properties of that. Right, default. Right. Right, that's what I'm hearing. Right. Now give me a sound check. Check?
Sound check. Sound
Okay,
check.
got you back. Okay. Still clear?
You're still clear. Yeah, I
Okay,
hear you fine.
okay. Right, so that's the settings I need to do. It's right. This is the side of computers that people normally don't deal with, because I do things on my computer that are not textbook, because I know all the textbooks, you know.
You're not textbook in life, dude.
Anyway, we got it all right after what, 5 minutes? I didn't. Where's my watch? I don't have my watch anywhere. I have to watch the time another way.
And that wasn't meant in a bad way. That was meant in a good way.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, I found that the way to clear my audio up was to, you know, feed it through my NVIDIA broadcast, which is specifically designed for broadcasting, like the other camera I use when I'm on Twitch, which is like going to that sort of camera here. Right, that's the one I'm sort of using, you know, which is this camera here. It's a different camera which is driven by the NVIDIA broadcast. But yeah, but we use that screen. Yeah, okay. Anyway, getting down to it. Okay, David's here. G'day, David. Yaklama, yes. Can't hear Jerry now. Use your sign language. Hello. Happy weekend, everybody. Sean escapes. Not long before you get back here. Go and do a few things. We're going to do the escape room when he gets back here. That definitely, the escape room is one of the things we're going to be doing, because I need somebody to solve those puzzles, because I'm hopeless at those puzzles. No, I really am. Unless, of course, it's a computer terminal, I'm stuffed.
Sean got mad at me because I did a video from Pastel Rooftop Bar. He said I stole his idea.
Well, I've always had this idea of doing a video series, just like I can't easily do it. Doing a video series covering all the rooftop bars in Bangkok.
Mm.
You know,
that'll get very expensive because they're damn expensive.
I know, with 1,000 baht entry fees and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and 1,000 baht drink and so forth. It's not cheap.
But to do an expose on all the rooftop bars, like do, you know, you'd have to go and shoot them all at once, right? You know, over a week or 2 weeks, put all the video into some sort of category, you know, most expensive, mid-tier, low range, best, you know, and do, you know, 2 or 3 in each video, covering each video. It's a lot of work. You know, I think it'd make a great series and be sort of, you know, really sort of help, like, you know, get your channel up there. But again, it's the work involved. But I can't do it. I'm just too far out of Bangkok, and I'd get one rooftop bar done a week if I was lucky, you know. And there's like 50, isn't there?
There's many, and you know me, I'm pretty damn lazy, so I'm not going to do it either. We need Sean to do it.
Get Sean to do it. Yeah, Sean, the guy with the bottomless pockets for paying for the drinks. How you going, Sean? Anyway.
I'm trying to get your feed from your comments, and I can't get it, so.
Yeah, well, that's normally where you get a feedback loop by watching the stream, you know, but we didn't have the stream running when we were testing, did we? I will take on the challenge. Yeah, we're going to, you know, it's got to be letterbox. It's letterbox format, you know, 16:9, sort of, you know, full widescreen, high resolution, low light camera, whole thing, to really capture the vibe. And I know I've done a couple of bars over the time, but when you look at the lighting there, you don't really get to see. Well, you get an idea of what it's like, but you really don't get the atmosphere. But I think you could really, with a bit of thought, you could really put a decent production into that. I don't think I've ever seen anybody really do a complete series. People do the odd rooftop bar here and there, and I've done a few myself. But to actually sort of go around Bangkok, the whole central area well, I think. Off the top of my head, I know there's 12 that I've got pinned on my map, but they're the only ones that people have told me about. There are way more.
There are so many, literally dozens upon dozens of rooftop bars, and they range from really inexpensive to stupid expensive, especially the one where the movie was filmed.
Right. Which one was that?
The Hangover series.
Yeah. I know my friend down in Phuket, was it Sonny Schellenbrook? He went to one on the river there above the, what do you call it, the Chinese hotel, what do they call it, the Mandarin, is it?
Oriental Mandarin?
Yeah. They got that big, Greek, dome thing at the end, at one end of it's used for weddings and all that sort of stuff.
That's not the Bayoke, is it?
Well, anyway, can't remember which one it was, but what he said is Le Boer Tower. Maybe that's the one it is, yes. State Tower. Anyway, he went on there, like it was 1,200 baht per head or something to just go up there with one free drink. So we went up there.
Can you see that?
It's not, no, well, there could be that one, yeah. The one with the big
that's
dome
the Bayoke building.
Anyway, he got up there with one free drink for the entrance fee, so he ordered a glass of Bollinger or something like that. No, that wasn't included in the free drink. Okay, he had to pay for that. It was like 3,500 baht per glass or something. Yeah, got to be careful about what they're giving you for free. Maybe it's only a Leo. Don't bother eating there. Fancy expensive food and $900 later you stop eating somewhere, stop to eat somewhere else. Yeah, okay. I can imagine. Believe me. There we go. Just set things up properly. Yeah, there we go. For some reason, that's playing up as well. There we go. That's better. I can see the white writing on the black background better than I can see the black on the white. That's all. Right. Okay. I think we're good. Oh, come on. I just press the play button. Just play it. Yeah. Okay. It's caught up. I was reading it off the Streamlabs screen, which was not ideal. There we go. Don't bother. Yeah, I can see that better. Slightly a different font, I think, and it just makes, I have changed my glasses from 1.0 to 1.25 magnification. I'm getting old.
That's what happens when you turn 60 every year.
Yeah, every year. Yeah, exactly. I do have a couple of articles I was going to throw up here. We won't see Todd today. He was spending overnight in Bangkok doing some nefarious activities. We didn't get to see him last night, but he had better plans. You'll all hear about Todd's better plans at some stage when he finally sort of pins them down. Todd's life is a bit topsy-turvy at the moment with all the bullshit that's going on. I really feel like Thailand is not meant to be a challenging place to live if you just, if you go by the numbers. But sometimes the world just seems to just want to throw shit at you, and he's just had his fair amount of shit being thrown at him for the last 3 months. It's just bloody unbelievable.
Really has.
Well, actually, it's been longer than that. Well, it started when the light aircraft that he was using to pilot, in his lessons, when that crashed. Right, the investigation still hasn't been completed. Because that was what was holding him from flying. The accident investigation, was it pilot error or was it error with the aircraft? he'd like to know if it's an error with the aircraft, then yeah, he doesn't want to fly with that school anymore. But if it's an error with the pilot, well, he could get back flying again if it wasn't an aircraft, relevant. But it's Thailand. Things get done at a certain speed, if you know what I mean. But anyway, moving right along. Yeah, I do have a couple of articles. Here we go. These ones here caught my eye. Thailand faces decline in British tourists and expats, causes and consequences. And I have to sort of say, I have heard, I've not really heard, but noticed. At Susie's bar, for instance, we'd get, the British expats coming in from time to time. They like Susie's bar. They just haven't been appearing lately, So it's something that I've noticed. Now, is it because, like I was reading another article, which I'm not going to go into here, because that was brought in 2000 when England stopped CPI indexing British expat, pensions for the cost of living. Basically, if you were living outside the EEC or the European Community, then your pension wasn't being CPI adjusted. That came in about 2000. But there's been a lot of talk over the different interwebs lately, the fact that a lot of British expats are having to choose to find somewhere else to live, like Vietnam, because the cost of living is less, because they can no longer afford to live here in Thailand, because their pensions haven't increased for 10 years, and the cost of living continues to go up. So yeah, it's an interesting dilemma. Is that the cause of this one? The article doesn't seem to highlight that one, but what they do highlight the Thailand, the country, has long held a special place for the hearts of the British travellers and expats, witnessing significant drop in numbers of visitors from the United Kingdom. Detailed analysis by PopeKael, along with insights from industry experts, highlights a complex set of factors driving the shift. This trend raises concern for Thailand's tourism-dependent economy, its expat community, and future appeal for British travellers. From staple destinations to shifting tides. For decades, British tourists have flocked to Thailand's sun-drenched beaches, vibrant cities, and affordable cost of living. I think the cost of living is where it's really hitting them. Expats have enjoyed a tropical climate after entrepreneurial opportunities and a Thai hospitality that made the country a popular choice for establishing life abroad. However, a combination of economic, bureaucratic and competitive pressures is eroding Thailand's traditional appeal for British travellers. First one is the cost factor, rising expenses and neighbouring options. The rising cost of international airfares, fueled by global inflation and fluctuating fuel prices, is taking a toll on British traveller budgets. Simultaneously, the Southeast Asian destinations like Vietnam, Indonesia, Cambodia are becoming increasingly popular. These destinations offer similar cultural experiences, exotic allure, often at a lower price point. This increased competition puts pressure on Thailand to offer uniquely compelling value and cost-effective thing. Now you've just spent last week in Da Nang, is that right?
Yep.
So just give us a heads up on that. Kalpat Mu, I can get on local market here for Krapalmu up at my local market. It's a meal-sized meal. It's still only 25 baht. Mm. What are you paying in Da Nang? Or you didn't eat that? You ate all the expensive restaurants, I'm sure.
we only did one expensive restaurant, in all fairness. The restaurant prices were fabulous. A banh mi, which is of course their sandwich on a hoagie, on a submarine or a hero, whatever you want to call it.
The subway, okay.
A submarine, anywhere between 35 baht to 60 baht, maybe. So $1 to $2 what I'm trying to say. You can probably go to a fancy place and spend a little bit more, but not a whole lot. A breakfast of delicious, and if you look at I'll promote the video just for a second. The video I just posted has us eating breakfast in the first couple of minutes. And the breakfast sandwich that I had was that thick, that round,
Yeah.
loaded, and it was about just under $4 US. So not cheap, but Western food.
No.
And it was gigantic and awesomely good. So the prices are good in Da Nang, no doubt about it. The people are friendly. It's very chill. It's very easy to be there. There's no hustle and bustle. There's no hassle. It just is a really easy environment to spend 3, 4, 5, 6 days.
Now, you did sort of say that what we were talking about yesterday, um, well, getting back to the cost of living, right? On a general overall basis, you spent what, 5 days there? 5 days?
6 hotel nights cost us 5,600 baht, so less than $30 a night, 30 US a night, for a very nice hotel, a newer hotel, a boutique hotel, excellent bed, excellent air conditioning, no breakfast. But we didn't want breakfast because the breakfast places there are so good. The flight, I don't remember what I paid for the flight. Maybe 5,000 baht, but don't hold me to that. I just don't remember the number on the flight.
So on a relative basis, cost-wise, Thailand to Da Nang, which is what, Cambodia, isn't it?
Da Nang is Vietnam.
It is Vietnam, sorry.
Yeah, Vietnam.
Oh, okay. You did say that there's a different place to Ho Chi Minh and a few other cities you've visited
Yeah,
as well.
this is a beach city or a beach town. The beach is just, depending on where you are, 200 meters away, 300 meters away. So for a beach community, the prices are really, really inexpensive. The quality of the food was top notch. The restaurant choices are fabulous. All types of food.
And
The
cheaper.
Vietnamese food, of course, is very inexpensive. It was just great. It was a fantastic experience, and I'd go back in a heartbeat. And the weather,
Me and Shun used to sell up and move to Da Nang, huh?
you know what? It's not a bad thing. You'd get bored though. No, it would get
bored?
boring. It's
Yeah.
a great place to visit, but to live there after living in Bangkok, it'd be difficult.
Yeah.
But to go back a couple times a year, absolutely.
Yeah. So nightlife, is there much nightlife going on there?
Not like here. It's not that type of nightlife. It's more restaurants and bars, walking on the beach. There's live music on the corners, very nice live music. But no, it's nothing like it is here. It does not have any of that scene there.
Fair enough. Okay, what else we got? Bureaucracy and diminishing opportunity of British expats, apart from the pension issue. Report now about an increasingly complex immigration procedures, which is, starting to, affect a lot of people, including stricter visa requirements and work permit regulations. Well, I guess that happens. The bureaucratic maze is discouraging potential expats, while those already established may feel waning sense of security. Again, they've got to tweak things to even it out, but it becomes another challenge. The X factor, Thailand's evolving image beyond tangible costs and regulations. A subtler shift in Thailand's perceptive image may be at play. Some British expats, tourists mentioned concerns of overdevelopment in certain areas, diminishing authenticity, and the occasional reports of scams or incidents targeting foreigners. While these issues might not be widespread, they can contribute. Yeah, well, then again, we've had 6 months of foreign news of foreigners doing bad things. Well, you open up the doors, you make it easier for people to come here, and of course the filter's no longer there. And again, the people that we're seeing in the news are not so much British expats. They're the ones that previously had to go through a visa application process. Now they're not having to go through a visa application process and be here for 30 days and causing all sorts of trouble, especially overstay and things like that as well. So again, I think they just need to sort of, they need to take a time out on that one because that's something that's been coming up as well. Um, which I've been reading over and over again. The constant pursuit of tourists is eroding the quality of the tourism. Even though that there's one mandate sort of trying to get more top level, tourists. Unfortunately, when you got no visa application process apart from a stamp at the door, then anybody can come in. They used to let me in with it. Still. Anyway, Mark, g'day Mark, how you doing? Shaunus, g'day. Yeah, that's Shafty. Hope you guys are well. Good. Well, consequences for Thailand. The decline in British tourism and the shrinking expat community could have far-reaching consequences for Thailand. British visitors have been a consistent source of revenue, particularly for business catering and Western tastes and preferences. A decrease in spending power from the demographic could strain local economies dependent on tourism. Yep, that all makes sense. Potential strategies, rekindling the connection. Yeah, they're just got to rethink it. Conclusion, whether this decline represents a temporary dip in long-term change in British travel preferences remain the same. I just think they're going to choose for somewhere cheaper. And I have heard that they're picking the Mediterranean destinations as well because, it's quicker, easier to get there, cheaper airfares, and, British people are, all I hear from Britain is this constant influx of, foreigners in boats, which I think resulted in the death of a child on one of those dinghies recently. And, the Prime Minister tried to defend the whole process, yet, their pensioners are suffering. Let them all in, but, fuck the pensioners. People who have done their bit, people who have worked for 45 years in their economy are being shafted, well, these are the sort of things that are going on around the world now. It's just not England, but Australia's doing similar things as well, I just look at them from more of a perspective of an overall and to say, well, what's going to happen next? I could potentially see, if things went one way, you'd end up just saying, fuck it, I'm just out of here, because it's no longer the place that you chose to be here. The only thing that keeps me here really is Sonia. She's my girl, and she would have difficulty living in other countries, being transgender, and that's why we chose. I always used when we talked about it in the old days, it's just like taking a fish out of water. She would just flounder. She really wouldn't know how to be herself in a different country. That's why I chose to migrate. Me leaving.
Migrate.
Yeah, migrate. Yeah. You always get those two mixed up.
Immigrate.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I chose to come to Thailand. Simply because of the fact that, I'm more adaptable to change than what a lot of people are. It's what happens.
And we always thought it was because you liked hanging out with the boys.
Yeah, well, there is that too as well. I like to hang out. So how has everybody else been? I haven't got around to sort of asking how everybody else has been. How has everybody else been? Are you all over your Songkran? Friday at Susie's bar, she was washing down, or, she'd like to cool the front of the place down by spraying the hose over the awning, and she, somebody walked up behind her to say hello, and she turned around with the soaked him. Poor guy. I yelled out, it's not Songkran anymore. Expat Paul, g'day. I think I said hi to Shafty. How's Shafty going anyway? We'll be catching up with you probably later on this afternoon. I do need to go and get myself a massage. I haven't had a massage for the last one was my foot massage when I hung out with you a few weeks ago. Haven't been there since, Well, I didn't go this week because the dreaded lure guy in the house. We'll cover that in a minute. But yes, although I went out Friday to meet with the boys like this, I've had no signs that I'm carrying any extra, passengers on me. But you never know. It's one of those sort of things. My resistance to bugs is quite high. A lot of people are less resistant. You know what I mean? Anyway, the other one, this is another thing that's hot on the news at the moment. I might as well make this big, you don't need to see us. 30 deaths from heat waves in Thailand.
Wow.
Thailand's Ministry of Public Health has alerted the public to the perils of ongoing heat waves following the death of 30 individuals from heat stroke this year. Well, look, the global nature of what's happening to the planet with the carbon emissions and everything else, right? It's happening everywhere, right? The Western world is doing their utmost to curb carbon emissions, and yet bloody China's putting up a new freaking coal-fired power plant every month. Mind you, I did read something from I think Westinghouse in America have recently released the AP300 nuclear reactor, which will hit markets in 2026 for a cool $1 billion, I think it was. But it's basically an off-the-shelf nuclear reactor. It does 300,000 homes. So as the sprawl increases, they can just drop one of these things. They're just manufactured, like assembly line manufacture effectively, and you can just pop a nuclear reactor anywhere. They're carbon neutral, apart from the nuclear waste for bullshit. But totally safe. They're just waiting for final regulatory approval now. So things could change in the next couple of years. If America has one, or if Westinghouse has one, I'm pretty sure their R&D department's not as secure as the US government. But China will get the plans and they'll build them too, hopefully. Then we might see a reduction in carbon emissions from these power plants. Because don't forget, your electric cars don't do anything, right? Because the fact that they're still making the electricity with coal anyway. So I think only about 15% of the electricity we put into our cars for our green cars is actually green electricity. And even that 15% might be a little bit on the shaky side. Yes, it does move the pollutants and the carbon exfoliation and everything else, to a different location rather than in the city. But yeah, it's a big con job. They need to move into hydrogen fuel cells. That's the way to go. But we'll have to see about that. I was watching the Y-Files. He did a video. Well, I was watching a video on Y-Files. Was talking about all the suppressed technology, and it's quite amazing the suppression that goes on. There are mandates in the patent office in America. If the Defense Department sees an advantage in a defensive or useful technology, they will have the patent pulled and suppressed, and the person disappeared. It's been going on for years. People need to sort of stop trying to hoard their wealth. If it's something that's going to change the dynamic of the petrochemical industry, think about the fact that you're going to put in 500 million people out of work. But it can save the planet. Oh, right. Anyway, moving along. The increased temperature in the country have led to health problems linked to intense heat stroke. Often the lethal combination arising from body overheating is a predominant risk, particularly for those who spend substantial time outdoors. The doctors are advising drinking plenty of water, using electrolyte solutions for profuse sweaters. Alcohol consumption, which may heighten dehydration, is discouraged. There you go. We can't go drinking now. Citizens are also urged to dress light-coloured clothing that promotes proper ventilation to avoid leaving people in parked cars where heat can increase rapidly. Again, it's becoming a thing. Thailand's post-Songkran period has seen a rise in COVID-19 infections, which has happened in this house, which is interesting. It only Shania. Mum didn't get it, hasn't got it. Ben's here this week, so he hasn't got it. I haven't got it, but she's been careful. She's just basically kept herself confined to her room. We went out shopping on Wednesday. I did shoot a video in the shopping centre, but we were out to the shops and we're back home, and she just sequestered herself back into her room. I've been divorced for the last 5 days. I have to sleep in a spare room. Oh my God.
Never had so much fun.
The bed's just not as nice as the one with the nice memory foam topper and everything else. Influenza is also wide. I wouldn't have thought influenza is widespread with 128,000 cases reported since the start of last year, affecting all age groups. Vaccination and advice, advising for vaccination against COVID and the flu. Okay. Moreover, dengue fever has been reported in 24,000 cases, primarily in children aged 5 to 14 years old, resulting in 22 deaths. Really? Okay. So we've got a bit of a problem here at the moment with the heat. Hopefully the world will start to adjust itself, or all those Gaia itself will do something to mitigate those problems, I think, yeah. Planet Earth will exist, just the human infestation may not. Then again, somebody may just press that big red button and then stop all our problems, and they'll be living in Fallout 76. Who has seen the Fallout series? I loved it. I thought it was great. An interesting, paradigm shift. But anyway, what else we got here? PM urges vigilance after COVID-19. So the COVID-19 surge is on the rise, so you've got to be a bit careful about that one. Prime Minister has ordered local authorities to monitor COVID-19 cases after infection spike during site. Well, everybody's, Thailand generally is fairly conservative, and there is this space around you that you tend to assume, except on public transport. People do keep at arm's length from other people. That's something that's been post-COVID era. There's less hugging and patting and all that sort of stuff going on within the Thai community. I guess with Songkran, that just goes out the door, doesn't it? Everybody's up in your face, putting all the powder on and the whole bit. You're shaking everybody's hand, going from one place to another. Well, that was my case up in Sukhothai. Everybody wants to shake the hand of the Farang on the back of the truck. Yes.
Not only that, if you go down Silong Road, it's packed, just literally packed, wall to wall people. So they're in such close proximity for 3 days. It's bound to happen that there's going to be a spike.
Yeah. Ralph Lewis is in the house. Hello, folks. What have I missed? Just finished an inspection. What are you inspecting? What are you inspecting there, Ralph? I'm sure you're something benign. I'd like to be a lifeguard inspecting the bikini, but that's another story altogether, isn't it? Anyway, yes, COVID-19 has been on the aeroplanes. That's what we like to hear. So COVID's on the rise. Again, it's just this will peter out in 2 to 4 weeks. As things go off. As I said, it's been in this house for pretty much the last week. I haven't caught anything. Mum hasn't caught anything. Ben hasn't caught anything. But Sonia's PCR positive. She was feeling sick on I think Sunday last week, and she went and got a PCR test and showed positive, and she's been showing with the sticks every day. Really. Making sure the door plugs don't fall out. That's probably a good move. Hopefully my house hits the market in the next few weeks. Oh yes, so how much are you selling it for, Shafty? And where's the location? It's all about location. Location. Yeah. Anyway, the other 2 articles I got here, I thought we'd probably go into a bit of a discussion. There's two articles that came up in the same feed. And I thought they're probably both well worth talking about, because and they're probably worth making a video on, basically the information, and doing a bit more research as well. Everything you need to know before teaching English in Thailand. We know a few teachers, and they tend to struggle keeping jobs. Now, I don't know whether it's the quality of teaching they're doing, or it's just that the shift in the way that these teachers operate, or the way the schools operate, or they're always constantly headhunting better teachers. I really don't know, but it seems, I'm not going to mention names, I know three people who have talked about it over the last 12 months about, you know, losing their teaching positions and then struggling with it. Cessnock, 500k. Okay, well, I would have thought that had been a bit on the high side for Cessnock. Is that a big house? How many bedrooms? How many bathrooms? And again, I have no idea how to compare the price of housing, considering my 5-bedroom house on the outskirts of Sydney sold for 905,000. And again, that was 8 years ago, coming up to 8 years ago. I'm pretty sure the housing market continues to rise. But anyway, getting on to this thing here, do you want to talk about what the Tiger talked about here in English, teaching English? Do we want to know? 3-bed, 1 bath. Oh, okay, that's probably about reasonable then. I know I got a friend out. One of my cousins is out in Darragon. It's out near Bathurst or past Bathurst. He's got a 3-bedroom, 1 bath. I think he paid 300,000 for it, 350,000 a couple of years ago. Mind you, Darragon's really nowhere. Cessnock at least has got an airport. You could probably call it an airport, not international. Old Miners' Cottage. Does it have any heritage value? Anyway, moving right along. Everything. Do we want to talk about this? I don't know. I found it interesting reading through the article to know what was involved in teaching here in Thailand. What about you? Do you want to hear about it?
I kind of wonder if they get rid of teachers when they start making too much money, thinking they can replace them at lower price. I don't know that. It's just a thought.
Well, looking at the prices, we've got some pricing here as well. So let's go through it. Okay. Teaching in Thailand can be a rewarding and challenging career. If you have a passion, dedication and drive, it can be a great way to help people learn English in an environment that is friendly and welcoming. I suppose that's the upside. You'll need to commit your time and effort to this field if you want to make a real impact. But with so many options available, what do you need to know before starting your journey? Here's what you need to know before. So here, we've got some good points. English teachers are almost always in demand in Thailand. Well, except, the teachers I know lost their positions, found it difficult. But again, that might be the time of the year as well. Bangkok is certainly the most popular area for foreign tourists. Aside from Bangkok, lots of foreigners looking for teaching jobs in areas among the tourists like Phuket, Chiang Mai, Pattaya and Koh Samui. It's easy to see why these areas are famous. After all, who doesn't want to teach but feel like they're still on holiday? And that could be another thing. It's a career, and then you have a holiday aspect to the way you present your cases. Maybe that's part of it too. Who knows? Anyway, what is the average salary? That's what we want to know. The salary for English teachers here in Thailand varies a lot depending on where you are, the type of school you are teaching and your teaching experience. On average, first-time ESL teachers can expect to make 40 to 50,000 baht per month, which is about 1,000 to 1,300 US dollars per month in Bangkok. This amount is enough to live on a relatively comfortable life. As a single person in a small, 28 square metre condo, you probably could, have a comfortable lifestyle. Not really outrageous, but at least comfortable. Outside the city, the capital or expat cities, and the average salary ranges will be lower. You can expect to earn 70% of what you would get in Bangkok. However, the cost of living will be lower too. Some people live comfortably on 25,000 baht in your rural areas. Now, one of my teacher friends who hasn't lost his job, I think he was saying he only makes something like 30,000 baht a month, and he's actually teaching in, Salia, or around this area, but he's not actually in Bangkok directly. So again, I don't know how accurate that, maybe there are just different scales and everything else. But, him and his wife managed to live quite comfortably. They have it's a 2-income family, but they both bring in about the same amount. So But international schools typically offer higher salaries, usually starting from 60,000 baht or $1,500 a month. However, these schools are only available in urban areas with large population of foreign professionals and wealthy locals such as Bangkok, Phuket, and Chiang Mai. So that gives you an idea what they earn anyway. I didn't think English teachers got paid that much to begin with. From what I've heard from the people I talked to and the ones that lost their positions, they certainly weren't making 40,000 baht a month. And they would put in their hours. Well, we'll cover the hours shortly. Property in Sydney is still skyrocketing. We sold our 6-bedroom house overlooking Bondi Beach 7 years ago with just under $12 million. I see it just sold for, really. And if you'd hold out, you could have made 20 million instead of 12 million. It doesn't really piss you off when those sums go through your head. 7 years, if I just held on for 7 years longer, oh my God, make another 8 million. Sure. No, English classes for my girlfriend are about 500 baht per session. I was going to talk about the part-time stuff as well. That's in the article. To put that in perspective, a teacher's salary is less than what Thai immigration requires for retirement visa. Yes, I know, it's a bit odd that, isn't it? But I still think that retirement visa proportion is a good baseline to think about what your cost of living here in Thailand should be. If you're going over that 65,000 baht a month, maybe you're being a little excessive, or it's okay how much. It's up to you how much you spend. But I got a 24,000 baht a month mortgage here, but I live on the rest. My target income here is 75,000 baht a month when the dollar's performing properly. So I was probably only making 68,000 baht a month a couple of minutes ago, but at least I think I get 72,000 baht on my last month's transfer. So things are looking up. Mind you, it did dip a bit again last week. It came back again. Currency seems very volatile at the moment. What do you think? It's obviously good for the American dollar.
The American dollar is very strong right now. Yeah, 37 again.
But
going back to teachers very quickly, remember, not every teacher only teaches English here. In the international schools, they're teaching subjects, and that's why they're making a lot more money than 30 and 40,000 baht.
Yeah, that's part of it as well. I think with the articles, actually, I should probably link this article if you want to read all the fine print in it. Anyway, let's put that up there so that you can read along with me. It's good. It's a good baseline. Just odd job a job that will let you reside in Thailand is less. I know it's handy. You don't have to go through the whole. I paid 295K for my place 4 years ago, and real estate guys should get over 500. Yeah, okay. Well, that's the way property is, We always budget on 100,000 baht a month. Some months we're over, some months we're under. Yeah, I budget 75,000. That's what I spend. There are probably 2 times a year that I go over that. That's Christmas, and I have to pay my health insurance, once a year as well, which is 35,000 baht. So that's an extra 1,500. I have to draw out in September or August usually, but everything else is usually under control. Yeah, it just means I just don't go out, losing my shit, in a bar scene, every freaking few nights of the week. That's just, thank God for that. Anyhow, what are the normal working hours for English teachers? English teachers in Thailand usually stick to more than 50 to 20 contract hours, the hours you'll actually be teaching per week with their principal employer to avoid burnout. Many schools in Thailand expect you to stay in school, whether you're teaching or not, while school, for the whole school hours, usually from 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Really? Okay, that rules me. I can't even get up in bed. I get up at 8 o'clock. I couldn't be at school at 7:30. That'd be ridiculous. That'd be like even worse than my regular job. You can you can use your free time grading homework, tests, creating lesson plans, etc. If you're not teaching a public school, international school, or university, you'll likely work Monday to Friday with weekends and public holidays off. Some schools, however, may require to work Saturdays, so check the paperwork. Um, should I choose a part-time or full-time teaching job? And with no mortgage to pay out, I'm happy with that. Yes, I bet you, sure you are. We always budget. I was lucky to never have a mortgage. My house in Bondi was willed to me by a grant when I was 17. Oh, lovely. Yeah, can't complain. Yeah, that was a nice little. Did you have to pay any inheritance tax on that? I guess they wouldn't because of the way it. I probably had capital gains tax, no doubt. Wasn't your primary house, but anyway. Choosing between part-time and full-time teaching depends on whether you need what you need and your lifestyle. When you work full-time, you are paid monthly salary for a predetermined number of teaching hours each month. Despite public holidays, extracurricular events, and other sporadic class counselors, you receive this salary. Being full-time English in Thailand also means that your responsibility goes beyond the class, and if you're teaching in a high school, you'll have to attend school assemblies and extracurricular events. It's also important to note that despite being classified as full-time, some schools don't offer 12-month contracts. This means that you won't be paid during the summer. There you go. Part-time English teachers in Thailand are usually paid per class at an hourly rate. The advantage of that, you can work as little or as much as you want because your obligations are limited to the classes you're responsible for teaching. The drawback is that part-time salary is not very dependable, given the number of variations in cancelled classes that are likely to happen every year. And that happens quite a lot around here in Thailand, from what I understand. It's good. It's sun shining today. We can't go out in the sun. We might get sunburn. Whatever. In general, part-time jobs are advantageous for newcomers and retirees who are, I don't know why they put retirees, because you can't work in Thailand on a retirement. The whole who require a hobby to pass the time, yeah. Where should I look? He talks about the worst time to find teaching jobs around December to January and early to mid-April. This doesn't mean you shouldn't live. And I think in both those cases, that's when they lost their jobs around. So that's when they're probably, putting out the feelers for better quality, for the same price or something. And that's probably why they were asked to leave or were no longer required. And that's probably why they were finding it hard to find their job, because it's the worst time of the year to find a job. But yeah, so, teaching, it's an interesting career. I wouldn't have the first idea, like I'm anti-teaching myself. I don't know, I wouldn't know the first thing about teaching a class of students. Yeah, no, Ryan, no inheritance tax at all, but I had to pay a fee when changing the name on the deeds to my name. Yeah, we tried that. We tried to get the courts to allow me to change the deed to the house in Australia. But the courts wanted to intervene and to say, I'm sorry, no, we have to put it on paper. It's a 50-50 split, which is what we didn't agree on, right? Which is why I held on to the house for 8 years while I was looking after Sarah. But we went through that process, and the courts interceded and said, sorry, you can't, you've both agreed the fact that this is what the split should be when you sell the house. Well, we don't agree, but you've agreed to it, which is between you anyway. The lawyer we were using finally sort of said, you don't need the court sanction on it, but basically it means the fact that when it comes to sell the house, you'll have to get a power of attorney on her behalf so that you can do can you sell the house for the lease, or for the mortgage or whatever it was. It was a bit of a letdown, but it's interesting how the courts sort of side and make these rules up when two people are quite amicable about doing a particular revenue split, on a sale. I never understood that, And what I realised, the fact it was only to do with the mortgage, changing the names on the deed, that's all, because we were joint ownership and we wanted to put me in the thing, yeah. Robert, I'm setting up to tour Australia for the next, okay, so you're going to jump in one of those vans, a man in a van running around Australia. I know one of my friends did that. Got the van, we helped him kit the van out. This was probably 2007. Kitted the van out, all ready to do his trip around Australia. He left Sydney, spent 2 days driving to Melbourne, parked his van in Melbourne, hooked up with this girl, and that's it. His plans stopped. That's it. Okay, he did end up moving to Queensland, but it's interesting how you got all these grandiose plans of, solo tracking around Australia to see the whole of Australia, and then you meet a girl of your dream. That's it. There goes your plans. So many people's plans are ruined by the pursuit of sexual congress.
You weren't planning on moving to Thailand. Look what happened.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's amazing how that little brain drives the big brain.
Little brain doesn't always work so well.
Yeah, tell me about it. Mine was a real life Lego set. Yes, we are buying. Are you buying a caravan? You got to do it get an old combi van or an old, was it Toyota Hilux? Not a Hilux. What's the Toyota vans? What were they? It wasn't a Hilux. That's the Ute. I used to drive one when I was doing plastics engineering. I used to do fit outs in some of the shops, and we had this. I'm pretty sure it was a Toyota van, nice and big inside. Could have really easily done up a nice bed.
That was a lot of years ago, dude.
Yeah.
You still drive a Corolla, remember?
A Corolla?
What'd you call them?
Celica.
Oh, the Celica.
Celica. All these Australians know exactly what a Celica is, right? A Toyota Celica. It's a lovely car.
But Toyota named it Celica, not Celica.
Yes, Celica, yeah. It's aluminium, yeah. You guys just don't know how to speak, that's all.
I'll never claim we did.
Land Cruiser, that wasn't a lead, but I'm talking about the actual, those boxes on wheels. They're great for putting all our shop fitting stuff in, because as a plastics engineer doing plastic, well, most of the line of product we were making were shop fittings, plastic shop fittings, and people like Sheraton Towers would want us to go and erect the actual displays in the shops and things like that, which was a lot of fun. I really loved that career. I really, really loved the plastics engineering. You just didn't have the money that I was looking for. But it was one of the, I really, really enjoyed doing plastics engineering. Like vacuum forming, injection molding, assembly, just it's all work with your hands, You take a sheet of plastic and you can make things out of a sheet of plastic. And some of the stuff, I won an award for OPSM in one of my displays. The company won the award. I didn't get personally handed the award, but I was one who designed it and built it. It was a light driven, had a base light in a housing with, it looked like stalagmites coming out of a thing to display. Oh, it really looked quite slick. Won the award. Won the, but anyway. I really loved that career. I just, I did plastics engineering. I started as a guy on the floor for 2 years, then moved into a former position at a different firm, right, by reputation, basically. And then from there, we got moved sideways, sort of, in the business. They objected to the fact that I was dating one of the staff in the business. Yet the boss, the owner of the business, his wife worked there. The production manager, his wife worked there, right? And their very good friend, right, in the vacuum forming department, who ran that division, his wife worked there. But it was not okay for me to be dating double standards.
You're a bad man.
Anyway, so I was just asking around at like the Friday afternoon drink up session, and people from all around. Yeah, we always used to congregate together, and just something came up in conversation. And I said, well, I might be looking for a new position as a production manager. would you allow me and my girlfriend to work there? And he says, we got no problem. My wife works with me. Within 4 weeks, changed position again, production manager, all over Barbara shouting. And then, of course, Angie fell pregnant 6 months later, or 3 months later. Anyway, which exited her from the workforce anyway, if you know what I mean. But I really loved that. I loved doing that work. I just, you could take nothing and have something produced in an hour. There's a lot of job satisfaction in that. I was watching, Chris's little video on his Marvel exploits about Iron Man. Did you see that one?
Yeah. Well, he told me that story. I knew the story.
Yeah, I did. I think he's mentioned the story before. Yeah. So Marvel was one of their contracts. They had exclusive rights to Marvel, and in 2006. Marvel came to their company to produce the merchandise for this new upcoming Marvel franchise based on Iron Man. And he laughed it off. You sold Spider-Man to Sony. You sold there's fantastic. These were the money spinners in the movie industry, right? And now you want to do Iron Man? How boring, That was look at what it did to Marvel. he dodged that bullet. It's amazing he didn't get fired.
he's lucky he didn't get fired on that one. Yeah.
That's
a good story. He tells that story really well.
Let me see if I can quickly find it for you. It's a TikTok, TikTok. Tie it together. Where's my friends?
If your zodiac's...
Where is he? So I've got to get on my profile. Tie it together. It's right down the bottom. Right down the bottom. God, this is a clumsy application for a desktop. I don't know. Tie it together. There we go. Of course, for copyright reasons. Which one was it? I know it's got the little Iron Man. This one here.
Here's something I don't think a lot of people can say.
And stop, pause, right? Because that can be a copyright strike. Have a look at this TikTok one. It gives you the full story. If you're not on TikTok, I'm sorry, but it's there. It might not be in America in 6 to 12 months' time. Who knows? Anyway, what's our time? We're not going over time, are we? How much time we spent on this?
Yeah, 11:03.
Oh, we're already over. Well, we might cover this one here next week. I'll put it in my next week. I wanted to go through this one here as well. The real cost of startups in Thailand unveiled. I'll copy this thing here. We'll talk about that one next week. I've got to put it back into here. Hold on a second.
Do they talk about how much under the table has to get paid?
They don't mention that specifically in the article. But
you're missing out.
Well, as a Discordian, we know the Finord and we know how to read Finords, and you can extrapolate that angle. They've really worded the article quite well, but we'll talk about it next week, right? Because we don't want to, hold people up too long here. It's been fun hanging out again, as usual. This is what we do. We just hang out on a Saturday. I'm sure you. I wish it could be sort of, capture the world at one time zone, but yeah. Unfortunately, it's the way it goes. We're on a globe, right? All the flat earthers, are quite adamant of the fact that everybody around the planet, believes in the flat Earth policy. Around the planet. But anyway, brown envelopes always helps. It always does. Yes, I don't see any mail coming my way. I want some brown envelopes, ones with paper, slips in them with numbers and things like that. Not the old drop the pound paper bag on the front doorstep and ring the doorbell while you light it and run away. You know about that, don't you? I'm not going to go into that one. The sort of things we did in our childhood. We will be landing this time next week, so won't see you on here. So you miss out on next Friday's meetup then, Sean. That's a bit of a bummer. We'll have to catch you the following week. and we'll make
We'll have
plans
to
from
have
there.
another meetup. That's all.
Yeah, well, you can meet us up in Jerry's meetup. Jerry's meetups are weekly in the M quarter. And do I keep on getting the two sides different? They
It's
got
M Quartier.
M
Yeah, M
Courtier, yeah, M
Quartier,
Courtier,
glass
bottom,
building
yeah,
on the
bottom
bottom
ground.
floor,
Yeah,
basement.
yeah. That starts at 11 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
Goes
11.
through till we have lunch there, and we go and do
Right.
things there. You're always welcome. Easy to find the big throng of people there. Although there was a noticeable decline in people on the BTS when I went in yesterday,
Yeah,
it looks like holiday season's now over, which is interesting. You know, yep,
good.
back
Yeah,
to
you
the
can
normal.
see a significant decline in foreigners here right now.
But you
And
still have the
even my meetup group went down from 45-50 to about 30-32, which is a good number.
okay. Well, I did. It looked about the same, but I guess that might have been they had a 2-for-1 special going on, and that's
Yeah,
probably why
out.
it looked
Yeah,
like there was more people there because they were doing two copies for the price of one. Well, coffee for the real price of what you pay for coffee in Thailand. Not 140 baht. Holy Christ! Yeah, yeah. The price of coffee in Thailand really does vary quite a lot. You know, from 45 baht at 7-Eleven, which is probably the most cost effective. You can get it for as low as 35 baht if you want to go for the 3-in-1 coffee mix, at a local thing. But coffee beans I think starts at 45 baht. The Amazon coffee, I think there's 65 baht a coffee,
about, yeah.
about 65 baht, and others tend to start climb up a bit more from there. Um,
Well, then all your local shops, you can get still in the 45 baht range for the small little
yeah,
mom
yeah,
and pop.
yeah. I think although we haven't been to the market out here, or the weekend market out here, for quite some time. There was a girl there that she does a nice bean to coffee for 40 baht, and always stopped there. When we used to go to the markets, always stopped there. It was 35 baht. It's now 40
Mm.
baht. But she makes a good coffee too. But sometimes I think I'll have an emery bun. It's too hot
Hey,
for coffee.
you know, another topic for next week, we talked about the 65,000 baht is a barometer number for what you
Yeah,
might want to spend. But that number has been their number for 10, 15 years.
yeah.
And inflation has been pretty heavy. So maybe the number in someone's mind should be more in the 75, 80 range
I do
if they want
believe,
to
I
talk.
do believe they'll make some adjustments in the next year or two about that because there's been discussion in the wind over the last 12 months about the retirement visa um, cap levels, right? But again, the other side of the story is the fact that a teacher can come here and be paid, on a business or on a you know work
Work
visa,
visa. Mm,
right? They can come here on a work visa and work in a school for 40,000 and live exactly the same lifestyle.
yep.
So yeah, it's a quandary that they have to sort out. And yet you can get married, so you got an extra mouth, in the thing, and they drop your thing by half. I don't know if that's expecting the fact that it's a dual income sort of arrangement. Okay, so our dual income arrangement effectively is about 80,000 baht a month. What I put in and what Shania puts in. So you don't do that. You're completely separate. You don't. But Tiki buys her own stuff, so you're not
Right,
buying those trinkets for her as well. So
right.
yeah, um,
We actually have a commingled fund, but most of it's in the GSB account where we're trying to win the lotto, the monthly lotto.
Susie told me she won the lotto. Won something in the lottery last week as well. She didn't elaborate. She might have got a second or third. I'm sure if she won the first prize, she would have no longer been running a bar.
Right.
But yeah, she's probably won a second or third. Like Sonia won that a couple of years ago. She
Yeah.
then promptly gave it all to mum. That's what they do. It's just life in Thailand. You get used. Anyway, look, I'm rambling on. We'll cover this story next week, and maybe we'll talk about cost of living, cost of, get a bit of a comparison, as you said, Robert was talking about his budget is 100,000. I think it's a lot of things that doesn't get talked enough about, and I'm going to do more videos on budgets. And I sort of, Chris has been doing a couple, talking about budgets and things like that as well. And again, I'll have to make sure I give him a better shout. I shouted him out on yesterday's video when we weren't even talking about Chris anyway. Just but yeah, I pointed. Yeah, there'll be a link up in the corner of the video. You know how it goes. Topic for next is same-sex marriage. Any news? Nothing more on the wind. It's in Senate now, or the Senate Committee, and unfortunately, the Senate's being replaced shortly. They're going to do the vote. When's the Senate get voted? On what, end of May? Is it end of May?
No idea. Yeah.
So we could delay things happening, but we don't see any real delay. Not with the fact that we've got about 80% public approval on both sides of the houses. It's a move that they want. But yeah, May. Yeah. Anyway, topic news. Yeah. So we can. I said. The other question I was going to ask before I bow, I just click a button every Saturday morning, just change the date. Now, one of the things I did a few years ago, we always put the topics in the description, right? Do you think I should start putting that back in the description? I'm just trying to sort of get things more hip, right? The trouble is, you want to sort of draw people in to talk about things, and that's we've got a great core group here. We'd like more people on the Discord. We're still aiming for that Brady Bunch thing that's not simply going to ever happen, where we get 9 people on screen. That's the goal. But aside from that, should I sort of? I'm just lazy, because I can just click a button, say just change the date, and away we go, and it's just click, click, click. It's all done. But if I start messing around with titles and things, I forget to change it, and we're not talking the title. And I've always left. Had few articles to talk about just on the side there, just thinking about what we could talk about if we can't think about talking about something between ourselves. No, because you can run off. Yeah, exactly, Robert. And I can. That's my problem. I'll just run off topic anyway. So,
Robert, right on target, buddy.
Thanks, Robert. How's your beer keg thing going? Your beer tower keg. I know the designs there. I got to see this thing in production somewhere along the line. I'll keep harping on that one. The Big W, I suggest you should take a fresh look at living expenses in Aussie. Suggest you'll be shocked. Well, I need assistance with that. There is a website out there that I can click on, and I can get the basic essentials side by side, which really doesn't, knowing that industry sort of back to front, I'd like to be able to sort of get access to the IRI data on really what it's called and what the differences are, because it's amazing how much things change. But yeah, I don't see anything. I get no feedback. I did. Whoop! I've already taken it out. I did get my Drano. A good colleague, a good supporter of the channel, brought the Drano, dropped off at Susie's place. I went in to pick it up last week. Nobody could find it anywhere.
That's
anyway,
good though.
But found it this week anyway. So I got to go and do some, get rid of the bottom brown, crustacean that's in the bottom. Anyway, Thailand is still a lot more affordable than the US as well. Yes, I know. Staff are on holidays at the moment. Anyway, I think we'll do it. Let me get the buttons, get the bow out music, closing screen. We'll see you next week. We'll continue this discussion and we'll keep going. I'm going to think of something to lift the process, and see if we can get more people chatting, right? And hopefully Todd will be back with us next week, and we'll have a good conversation.
Hopefully not, in a way. Kind of hopefully not.
He'll get himself worked out, don't worry. Yeah, little heads overruling the big head.
Nothing wrong with that. At the right time.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Peace out. See you later. We've been on for way too long. I got to reset and go and do some gaming. Bye for now.
See ya.
I want you to lift me up so